Your belief in soulmates is ruining your love life. Your belief in finding that special someone, that prince charming, that knight on the shining knight on a horse who's going to come save you from all your problems in your life one day and whom you're going to have a happily ever after with. All of these ideas around your soulmate, finding a soulmate, is actually blocking you from attracting healthy love that you desire. It's blocking you from attracting men who are able to love you in a way that is healthy for you, in a way that you actually want to be loved. And I know whenever we're saying this, you may be gawking at it because this idea of soulmate is something that you have craved for. You wanted this your whole life, ever since you were young, beginning from the Disney princess movies to the rom-com movies and the romantic drama shows. You have always believed that, oh, if I finally have this special someone, if I finally meet this soulmate, then finally my heart can rest. Finally, I'm gonna be taken care of. But the thing, my dear, is that oftentimes many women who have this phantasmagorical, I hope that's the word, but either way, a fantasizing relationship with regards to a soulmate, regards to finding your dream partner, usually tend to attract emotionally unavailable men who are not consistent, men who are not reliable, or men who are not committed enough. It can almost seem as though no matter how hard you're trying in life, somehow you just keep on finding one problem after another, and it can seem like you have to restart all over again when these relationships are over. And the truth, my dear one, is that it's not because something is wrong with you. It's not that because you are not deserving of love. It's just that your idea, your beliefs around love is really skewed. It's really distorted, as in this case, where we have this idea of around how a soulmate should be, which prevent us from being loved in a way that you actually desire. And one of the most common ways on how the belief in soulmates sabotage your love life is because of this common perception that many women have. Whenever you believe in soulmates, you likely have this idea that the soulmate finally completes you. He completes you and you complete him. And this idea of two people being incomplete without each other, it may seem so romantic at first. It may seem like this, oh, that is so cute. The fact that he can't exist without me and the fact that I can't exist without him. The movies that you watch, the shows that you watch, they really make you fall in love with this idea. But the truth is that the belief that soulmates make you complete, but otherwise you are incomplete, that type of idea actually sabotage the way that you date, the way that you interact with men. It's going to impact every little interaction with men, everything in terms of your love life. It's going to sabotage everything, because what ends up happening is that even though this idea of two people being inseparable, right, that you can exist without each other, although it may seem really cute at first, but deep down what it's actually saying is that type of belief is saying that you are incomplete, you are unwhole, you are in lack without the other person. And this is actually more toxic than it seems, because it doesn't just sabotage you in your love life, it sabotages everything else. It sabotages the way that you experience reality. No matter where you're going, no matter what you're doing, it almost feels like there's always something missing. There's always like this a void that you're feeling inside, and it always feels like, no matter what you're doing, no matter how much you're achieving, there's just something missing inside of you, right? It's such a tormenting place to live in when you are having this idea that yourself alone, you are unwhole, you are incomplete, you are in lack. And what that does is that whenever you want to date people, whenever you want to meet men, whenever you want to attract them, what ends up happening is that it makes you run to him, because the mind is like, oh, finally someone who will save me, finally someone who will make me feel whole, finally someone who will make me feel complete. And so what ends up happening is that you rush into this relationship, you end up chasing after him. And whenever you chase after him, what ends up happening is that in relationships, he ends up feeling overwhelmed. He ends up feeling like he needs some space, right? This is true, especially for men who are not emotionally available. They will not be able to handle you. They will not be able to handle your intensity and your craving for love. And so this person withdraws away. But to you, the fact that they withdraw, it actually is really attractive to you. For some reason, you feel even more passion for him. You feel even more of this desire to connect to him. And what do you then end up doing? You end up chasing even more. And then he ends up withdrawing even more. And so because whenever he withdraws, the thing is that it's going to make you chase even further, because you're going to feel even more incomplete, even more unwhole, even more of that lack, right? It's almost like you're having a drug, and it's like when the drugs are taken away, you have this withdrawal symptoms. So it's almost like you're going to be approaching your love life as though you're chasing for that drug. And whenever that drug is not there, then you feel anxious, then you feel insecure, then you feel like you're not safe without this other person, right? It's like there's a part of you that needs them to fill you, that needs them to make you feel safe, that needs that person outside of you in order to feel safe and secure and be well. So all of this is to say, what ends up happening is that because of this belief that you are incomplete, you're unwhole, you're in lack, you end up getting into relationships where it's always this cycle of you chase and then you're deprived. You end up always getting into this cycle of you reach for something and then you have to reach for it again. You deprived again. And then you have to reach for it again and then you're deprived. You chase for it and then deprived again. So going about your love life almost feels like you always have to be pushing. You always have to be efforting. You always have to be fixing and trying to make things happen in order for you to be loved. And of course, this type of pattern, it's actually very exhausting whenever you have this pattern inside of you that says that you are incomplete, you're on lack, which ultimately ends up not attracting the right partner. So you end up repelling men. Instead of actually letting them pursue you, you end up repelling them. Why? Because of this pattern inside of you that is always always in a state of lack. And the truth is, what you need to understand is that if you are to attract a healthy, emotionally available, emotionally healthy, secure man, the thing is that you need to feel complete first until you can attract someone. This is actually the opposite. You're trying to force reality in a way that actually is flipped inside out. Right? It's almost like you're putting the cart in front of the horse. The thing is that you need to feel complete first before you can attract him. Just like how if you are a flower, you need to bloom first before you can attract a butterfly or a bee. You need to bloom first, right? You can't try to attract a bee, try to attract a butterfly with the bud being closed, with the petals being closed when the flowers is shut off. The same thing, whenever you're feeling incomplete, lack, you are unwhole, that means that you are not truly yourself. You are not truly in your feminine radiance. You are not being your true self. And when you are not your true self, who is whole and complete and fulfilled, right? When you are not your true self, no wonder you're not going to be attracting the actual guy that you want. You're not going to be attracting the right man, the emotionally mature, secure man. No wonder you're not going to be attracting it, because you are shut off. You are not fully yourself. You are not your full self, which is the reason why trying to manifest a life partner from the place of believing in soulmate, believing in this idea that, oh, finally this person completes me, and until I get there, I am not happy yet. I cannot be fulfilled yet. Trying to attract a man into your life, trying to attract your life partner into your life, it feels impossible. You are working against reality. You are working going against how life actually works. And the other reason about why your belief in soulmates make you attract emotionally unhealthy men who are actually not good for you and make you not have a peaceful love life. The reason why it sabotages our love life is because your belief in soulmates only make you become confused. It makes you become confused with your feelings, confused with your emotions. It makes you confused about what is actually true, who is actually the right match for you, who is actually the guy who is able to love you, who is able to hold you, who is actually healthy for you. It makes you become confused. Why? Because whenever you believe in soulmates, you have this idea that a soulmate is someone who just gives you that high. So you think that just because someone gives you the high, therefore he must be your soulmate. In fact, most of us, we derive the idea of soulmates from it. When we're feeling that intense passion and craving for this person, then we believe that, oh, I have never felt that much spark, that much chemistry with someone before. Therefore, he must be my soulmate. This is how we go about our love life. And the thing is, this is actually a very toxic way. This is a very dangerous way to go about your love life. Why? Because whenever your emotion is high, your intelligence is low. Our intelligence is low when our emotions are high. So what ends up happening in most women is that because we are feeling all that intense passion and chemistry and that spark and feeling so much desire for him, what ends up happening is that we end up accelerating, right? It's like you're a car and you end up going at full speed and you don't even put on the breaker anymore. You're just like going all in, diving all in. And the thing is that the truth is with almost any relationship, it's so important that yes, just because someone is giving you that high intense feeling doesn't actually mean that they are actually compatible with you. Maybe they don't have the same values as you. Maybe they don't have similar boundaries, right, as you. Maybe they don't actually love you in the same, have the same love language or compatible love language or whatever that may be. They just because the chemistry is high doesn't mean that the compatibility is there. Although right now, when your emotions are high, you may think that, oh, anything that he does, I'm okay with it, right? And it may feel, of course, when the emotions are high, it can seem as though, yes, he can love you. Yes, around him, all your problems in life dissolve away. But the thing is that because we are driven by all these intensity, the thing is that we end up ignoring the red flags. We end up not seeing the red flags. We end up not actually assessing them for who they are. And the truth about relationships, the truth about men is that the thing is that the more we try to rush into a relationship with them, right, the less it means that the less that we are actually letting them earn your commitment, earn your choosing. The more you try to rush into a relationship with a man, the truth is the less he will value you. Why? Because it's giving off this vibe that he just needs to be there. Right? He just needs to be there and you will be there. It makes him trained into this belief that, oh, he doesn't need to do anything, just needs to show up and then you'll be there. But the thing is that it creates this expectation. It plants this seedling around the early relationship early on that later on you may be wondering, oh, why doesn't he do this for me? Why doesn't he initiate this? Why doesn't he put as much effort? You may be wondering all these questions, but the thing is that it makes sense. He will not do them because he earned you early on. He got you early on by doing nothing, just by him showing up, just by him giving you these high emotions. He didn't earn anything to have your love, right? And this is the reason why, my love, many relationships end up falling apart later on down the line, because we only choose people through our emotions, but we ignore our intellect, the actual intuition around who the other person actually is. And lastly, the reason why the belief in soulmates can actually be really toxic, can really be detrimental in your love life, is because when you believe in soulmate, when you are falling in love with a soulmate, the thing is that you are falling in love with an image of someone rather than the truth of someone. In other words, you are falling in love with your own projection rather than the truth of who they are. So, for example, let's say that you have a really rough childhood. You may see I'm going to draw this really unhappy phase, really rough childhood. But what ends up happening is that, let's say that because of this rough childhood, you had fantasies about finally someone saving you out of this situation, right? So you may have this dream about, having this Prince Charming in a shining knight armor coming to save me, right? You may have this idea, and this may have been the way of how you coped with all these negative emotions, all these negative pain, and the sadness that you felt in your childhood. And it's totally normal. And in fact, that was also what I did when I was a little kid. When I was a little girl, I had ideas about what a soulmate should be. But what ends up happening is that, let's say later on, as you grow up, a guy walks into your life. And because we have this idea of soulmate and this image of, this knight in shining armor, this really cool guy, right? Because we have these ideas around it, what ends up happening is that we start projecting that image that we have about that person onto this. So what's happening is that we are no longer seeing this person for who he is anymore. Rather than that, we are seeing him as the knight in shining armor who's gonna come save us. And so what ends up happening is that we end up ignoring red flags. We don't see the red flags. We don't see them. We don't love that. The truth is, we don't even love them for who they are. Rather than that, we are loving the person whom we think they are, right? And we can totally be unaware of whenever this is happening. The truth is that whenever this phenomena is happening, we're not even aware of it, and which is the reason why it perpetuates, right? And how do you know that this is not working? What ends up happening is that only later on you find out, when you are in a relationship with this guy, and then you end up feeling like, he cannot give me XYZ. Like, you feel unfulfilled. You feel like this void inside of you. You feel like he's actually not meeting you and your needs and your desires. And why is that? It's because the truth is that in the very first time when you met him, the person that you were falling in love with was an image that you have created in your own mind. It's the projection. You fell in love with the projected image of the guy inside your head, which is why this relationship also felt like so much intensity, and it felt so good because you are thinking of this person who's going to come save you in your dark, terrible times, right? So compared to when you had a terrible childhood or when you had those sad emotions, it feels like this big contrast, and you almost felt like this aha moment. Finally, you're finally taken care of. But then later on, of course, as time comes, this is when time reveals the truth of who they are, right? That's when you start to realize that this person is not meeting your needs. This person is different from whom you thought they were. And why does this happen? It's because we fell in love with this idea of a soulmate. We fell in love with the own soulmate that we created in our own heads. And lastly, the reason why I believe that believing in soulmates can actually not serve you in your love life, can actually ruin or sabotage your love life, is because of this idea that there is only this one special person in your life whom you are destined to meet, whom you are supposed to have this happily married life, happily ever after life with. But what ends up happening is that because you believe that there is only this one person, we end up doing is that we start to go about our love life from a place of scarcity. We see it as though you have there's one special someone out there in the world, and you need to find him, and that if he comes into your life and then you don't see it, then you will lose your opportunity, right? So it creates this sensation of this scarcity, that emotion of fear when it comes to your love life. It almost feels like as if you need to grasp your way, you need to control, strive your way in order to get it. And the thing is that what you end up then doing is that it makes you really lose your confidence when it comes to your love life, because you're afraid that, in the back of your mind, in your subconscious, you are afraid that maybe you will lose your one opportunity of meeting your soulmate if you mess up this relationship, or if this date does not go well, right? So you end up going about your love life in this really rigid and scared, anxious manner, which ends up actually blocking in the right people, which ends up blocking you from connecting with the men who are actually able to love you, who are actually good, who are actually healthy for you. And in fact, I see this shift and transformation happening in my own life. When I met my husband, the truth is that I wasn't looking for this special one soulmate. In fact, the truth that I know deep down was that the truth is the universe is an abundant place. The universe is abundant. God is abundant. That means that, in fact, there are so many men out there who are a great match for you. And that is what you need to realize, is that the truth is the universe is an abundant place. And only when you start to accept this idea that yes, life is abundant, only then you feel safe to relax. You feel safe to be yourself. You feel safe to have fun, to enjoy your dates. And in fact, that is when you are enjoying, when you are seeing that life is abundant, right? When you are not afraid of losing that one special opportunity, that is when you can be yourself. That is when you become truly magnetic. And in fact, I believe is one of the key things that helped me attract my husband in a matter of 2 weeks of installing a dating app. That was how I manifested him. That was how I attracted him into my life, because I saw that the truth is God, life, universe is going to be giving me plenty of opportunities to see different candidates who are going to be a right match for us. And the thing that you need to focus on is selecting the one. The only thing that you need to do is to select to see who is the one most compatible to you among all the great men, among all the great opportunities that are presented to you. And that is the attitude, that is the approach that you need to go about in your love life. If you see life as that, life is definitely, reality is going to be confirming that yes, there are great men out there. The only thing that you need to do is choose, right? It's just like how if you are shopping out and you're having fun, you're choosing the dress that would totally be like your dream dress out there, right? Among all the beautiful dress out there. Compare that energy to that finding that one special dress among all this shopping mall that is full of, imagine this place where there is nothing, and then imagine this place where it's like a desert, and you need to find this one thing, one oasis, one thing, right? Comparing two different energy, one feels so exhausting, the other feels so much more fun. And this, my love, is actually what actually leads to, paradoxically, it actually leads to finding your soulmate. Ends up letting you find your dream partner, your dream husband, because now you are no longer desperate in finding that special someone anymore, but rather you are simply letting yourself shine, letting yourself be who you are, and then select from your feminine essence on who is capable of loving you. Much love. My love, if this video resonates with you and you want to find out the exact hidden shift that will transform your love life in a way that is uniquely personal to you, book a free one-on-one session. The link is in the description box below.